I'm coming at you as a sweaty boy right now, but what do you want me to do? It's hot out. Sue me. I actually left my house today and went outside, if you can believe that. I'm like a vampire. I can only go outside for like 10 minutes at a time before I start to whittle away and just melt into a pool of ooze. But speaking of suing, rest in peace Activision Blizzard, am I right? I've been saying for years, probably about a decade, that Blizzard is a shit company that I'm not a fan of. Not to wiggle my finger and say I told you so, but for a long time I think they've just been a horrible company. They have not been that golden age Blizzard people like to pretend that they still are. This is a company known for spontaneous layoffs without warning and other horrible business practices. And you remember Warcraft Reforged? Like, it is a company that is so far out of touch and so corrupt that it's gross. And then they merged with Activision to form Activision Blizzard, and it was like the Power Rangers coming together to make a megazord of pure filth. It'd be like combining dog shit and horse shit and then creating the ultimate pile of shit, which is Activision Blizzard. And now they're engaged in a lawsuit with the state of California over sexual harassment allegations, as well as some really, really deplorable stuff in there. I learned about this on stream the other night, so I'm going to play the clip of going through the articles and talking about it from the stream. And there's just a few more things that I'd like to talk about as well. The first thing I'd like to mention is actually a point that Mudahar made, Some Ordinary Gamers. He mentions in the article, they talk about the cube crawls and how, like, oftentimes in the office, people are just, like, fucking blackout drunk, apparently. And that is a real explanation for why the games are always so bad recently. Mudahar pointed that out, and that totally escaped me while reading it because it was just overshadowed by so many other awful things. But that's such a good point. At work, they're supposedly treating every day like a frat party, just butt-chugging blue moons in the cubicles and throwing back the brewskis while they're coding their games, which would explain why they've been so lazy and broken in recent years. And then the last thing I want to talk about before playing the stream clips going through the lawsuit allegations is the people that keep harassing World of Warcraft streamers as well as current Blizzard employees online. That behavior is wrong, super fucking silly, and you're really dumb for it. World of Warcraft streamers, a lot of them have made that game their entire life. They depend on it, and streaming it is a full-time job. And you're asking them to go ahead and throw away their entire career overnight with no backup plan? That's fucking terrible. And you harassing them to do it, trying to force them into it, is just absolutely awful. And then people keep going on Twitter pretending like they're some kind of vigilante by talking shit and harassing current employees that have social media accounts. And they're targeting people that aren't even associated with any of the allegations at all. And a lot of them they're targeting are women who most likely are victims of some of the stuff in the allegations if they're all true. So it's super fucking shitty all around, and they're demanding people quit Blizzard right now. Oh yeah, that's a really reasonable ask. People that completely depend on Blizzard as a company to provide for their family, people that have most likely dropped everything to work at Blizzard since it's been coveted as a dream job for so long. Yeah, let's go ahead and keep harassing them till they fucking quit. It's silly, and that harassment is the worst fucking shit. The people that do that are super dumb. So yeah, now let's go through the lawsuit allegations. Activision is sued by California over workplace culture. The lawsuit says women at the gaming company were paid less and discriminated against, and it described the culture of sexual harassment. At Blizzard? Are you serious? The company that fired like 800 people with no warning out of nowhere? They would... No, what? This must be a dream to work at. I can't believe it. I like that this is all they're known for. The video game maker that produces Call of Duty. World of Warcraft has fallen so far out of favor that now Call of Duty is what Activision Blizzard is known for. That's fucking adorable. 2-year investigation, huh? Frat boy workplace culture. Yeah, when I think of frat boy, I think of fucking gamers at Blizzard. So this was like a common thing? They would do cube crawls? What? A female employee died by suicide during a business trip as a result of her sexual relationship with her male supervisor. Before her death, male colleagues allegedly shared explicit photos of the woman, the lawsuit said. What the fuck? Holy shit. Well, this is a lot worse than I expected from just that one tweet. I have said for a long time, I do not like Blizzard. Way before it became cool to hate Blizzard, I've been saying that shit for fucking years. But not because I knew any of this. I just think that company fucking sucks. Like, they just openly hate the people that play their games, I feel. Like when Asmon switched to Final Fantasy XIV, you had that Blizzard douchebag that talked about how Asmon's the asshole because now he's not playing World of Warcraft. Am I the only one that finds it weird that companies feel like they have to do an anti-harassment training course for their employees because they can't fucking trust them to not be weirdos? I feel like if you hire someone that you then have to educate on how not to grope women in a cube crawl, they probably just shouldn't work for you in the first place. I find that to be just super weird. Charlie from the future here. Yes, I understand this is standard procedure for most companies to have this kind of mandatory training. What I'm saying is, I just find the whole idea a bit goofy that you'll hire someone that you're a bit concerned will start groping your female employees, that you have to give them like a course on how not to be a sexual harassing lunatic. I'm just saying I find that to be kind of wild. I just feel under no circumstances should you hire someone that could be a danger to your other employees. Like if someone comes in and does a great interview but then ends it by saying, also I hate women, that should pretty much be the end of it, and it shouldn't be one of those things like, well, it was a great interview up until then. I think if I give them the right training on how not to hate women, they'll be a great asset to the company. You know, a little rough around the edges, they hate women, but I think we could get that out with some training. I just feel like that shouldn't be an option, to be like, okay, maybe just go with somebody else who doesn't hate women that is also still qualified for the job. Oh yeah. Big Bobby K got that massive paycheck boost. And he earned it, man. He was crawling those cubes, man. He was on the prowl in the office, I bet. Fucking shaking people down for money out of their pockets. Yeah, just for those that don't know, the CEO of Activision Blizzard, Big Bobby Kotick, got himself a $155 million paycheck bonus. So if you're wondering why upcoming Blizzard titles might be missing some features, it's because Bobby snatched that shit right off the table and put it right into his wallet. I remember the Riot Games one. I remember in the Riot Games one, some of the women reported that their higher-ups, their supervisors, would often go by their cubicles and just fart in their face. Well, not directly in their face like beef stew, but they'd walk by and fart and just crop dust the office. I remember reading about that. I think working in the video game industry has to fucking suck, man. It sounds terrible. It sounds truly awful. Yeah, especially for women, man. This is like, what is this? The fourth company now? How many was there? There was Ubisoft, there's Riot, Blizzard, and what was the other one? Wasn't there one more that I'm forgetting about that we literally just read about? Fucking wild case, man. This just happened too. This is 51 minutes old. The state of California just pushed this shit through, it seems. No wonder all the main Blizzard people left within the last 3 to 4 years. Yeah, I wonder how long it's been like this. So this is a 2-year investigation. I wonder how long it's been in this state. I guess Valve is the best place to work for. Well, yeah, because they don't make anything. Working at Valve has to be fucking easy, man. You just show up, you go on Steam once or twice, like, yeah, what's going on? Okay, I'm going home. A newly promoted male supervisor delegated his responsibilities to his now female subordinates in favor of playing Call of Duty. So that you're telling me this fucking supervisor said, I don't feel like doing this. You women take it. I'm gonna go play COD with the boys. You fucking serious? Holy shit. Wow. Complaints weren't kept confidential. So that defeats the whole point of complaints. And if you complain, you get punished for it. Nice. Very cool. Very cool, Blizzard. Ooh, these are fighting words. They distorted and in many cases false descriptions of Blizzard's past. Goes on to say that they were required by law to adequately investigate and have good faith discussions with us to better understand and to resolve any claims or concerns before going to litigation. But they failed to do so. Instead, they rushed to file an inaccurate complaint, as we will demonstrate in court. Truly shameful shit from Blizzard if all of these allegations are true. I'm inclined to believe them here for obvious reasons, but also because I really don't think there was some hidden motive. This was an investigation done over the course of 2 years, and I don't think there was any real motivation for them to lie about things or distort the truth in any way. I think this is reporting on the facts that most likely occurred at this company over the course of those 2 years. I also really am a bit blown away by Blizzard's Mad Max style threat. We're gonna prove that you're wrong in court when we enter the legal Thunderdome. That'll teach you. That seems a little silly to me, especially since they're being very dismissive of everything. And this is Blizzard versus the state of California, I believe. So it doesn't. I don't really see why they're trying to like puff out their chest or anything. It just seems absolute goofy to me. There was so much more, which of course I didn't cover in the stream because it was so brand new then. But there were other things such as they made a female employee write a one-page paper on how she's going to spend time off, even though they didn't require that from anybody else. Like, it's some really awful stuff. This was like base level stuff in these articles, and since then there's been more that have come to light. This whole thing is super sad to see, and even worse because it's not that unusual in the video game industry, it seems. We've seen it at Riot, we've seen it at Ubisoft, now we've seen it at Blizzard. It really does seem like women get treated like shit at some of these major companies, which is just awful. At the very least, though, at least it's easy to boycott Activision Blizzard since they don't make anything good anymore. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to talk about this because it's a pretty wild story to see. And also, one more thing, I see a lot of people defending some of the behavior here, saying they were clearly just joking. And I just want to go ahead and put that shit in the dirt real quick. In the allegations, some of the jokes they were making were just about them wanting to rape the employees or something like that. Like they would just joke about raping the women employees at the company. That's not a joke. That's just fucking weird. That's a threat. That's creepy and that's scary. That's not like a joke. You don't just write that off. You know, if you just go up to a woman at the company and say, man, what if I raped you? Haha. It's not a joke. You're a fucking weirdo. And you should absolutely just get fired on the spot for that shit. So I don't know why anyone ever defends that. I really don't get that. I just wanted to say that real quick because I saw quite a bit of that on Twitter, defending that portion of it where they were talking about that in the allegations. So yeah, that shit sucks. The whole thing's horrible, and that's about it. See ya.